An ordinance amending and supplementing the 2014 annual appropriations, ordinance 2614, relative to various funds.
And what's your pleasure?
Mr. Mayor, I move that we pass and post according to law ordinance number 80, 2014.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Darrow?
Yes.
Mr. Engel?
Yes.
Ms. Hannikin?
Yes.
Mr. Molnar.
Yes.
Ms. Tully?
Yes. We're almost done. Oh, my God.
Ordinance number 80, 2014 passes. Ordinance number 81, 2014. Jim, could you explain what happened on this? Because this is a kind of must-do here.
What this is about is, as you know, this week I came back from vacation on Monday. Monday morning, I found out that one of my men retired. He's done. He went on vacation, July 31st, he's retired, he's finished. I'm already hurting for help, and I need to replace him, for sure. And the other one, and I miswrote this, it wasn't one new. Actually, anybody I hire up to 6 employees would be a replacement. But I'm looking and hoping to get 2 people in this. And what I did here was, I know you're supposed to have the names, what their pay scale is and all this. What I'm looking for is to see if council will give me the okay to hire 2 people. That's what I meant to do. I didn't, you know, and this way I could go out and advertise, because I want quality people. I want to get people like I did with Brian Schumann. I want to get people like Johnny Adamash. These are all tradespeople, and that's what we need in the city, because you have to look for the future. And we need people like that. Bill's scale was kind of high, because he was a tradesman. The new people would come in considerably less, almost $7 and change less per hour. And I would like to try to bring in 2, but if council would just look at that and see what kind of opportunities that I can do. I don't want to go out and advertise for 2 and then come back and you tell me I can't hire them. I don't want to give false hope to anybody. So this is basically, council, are you going to okay for me to hire 2 people? I will go out and I will get you quality people like we did with Brian, Johnny, and others that we have working in Macedonia.
So are you
I
saying,
would like to, I'm asking for 2.
are you saying it's budget neutral for you
No.
to do this?
No, a budget neutral would be for
One.
1.
Right.
Okay,
One's a
because
replacement.
Bill retired unexpectedly. Like I said, I came back from vacation and there's his resignation on my desk.
The new would also be full-time, so they'd both be full-time, not
I'm
part-time.
requesting 2 full-time. 1 would be budget neutral, 1 we would have to appropriate.
Now, there'd be an impact on the budget of the new one, but not as
Yes,
much
not with Bill,
because
no,
we
not
have a
with his
retiree at this level of pay and bringing in at lower pay for the new person.
Right.
I understand what you're trying to do, but I think you understand as you're talking to us, is you're kind of giving us an empty bag here, and because you can't fill it in, and I'm not criticizing you for
No, I
that, Jim.
understand.
But maybe it might be better for tonight if we say 1, that way we can have some ramification, have you give us some input as to what you're looking for, what pay raise you're talking about. Scott can tell us how it's gonna affect the budget, the council can look at these things.
Sure.
That would be my thought.
Yeah, I agree.
So what you're saying is that can go out for the 1.
Yes.
Well,
And then
we have
can
to,
discuss in the
we have to
future.
We have
adopt
to,
this.
We have to pass
vote.
this,
Yeah.
Okay.
if we agree.
I'll amend it.
I did, refresh me,
You
you
got
offered
offered.
it? You didn't? you
No, I
didn't-
have not offered it.
Okay, all right.
I'd like to offer ordinance 81, 2014 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
An emergency ordinance authorizing the mayor and service director to hire a replacement full-time employee as well as a new full-time employee for the service department.
I'd like to make an amendment to strike everything after full-time employee in the sentence.
Yes.
And in the body, too.
Yes, everywhere where it's appropriate, I will.
I'll second the amendment.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I move that we pass and post according to law ordinance 81, 2014.
Second.
Vote. Sorry.
Second. so that I can say that.
Roll call.
Ms. Darrow?
Yes.
Mr. Engel?
Yes.
Ms. Hannikin?
Yes.
Mr. Molnar,
Yes.
Ms. Telley?
Yes,
Moving on to ordinance number 82, 2014.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to offer ordinance 82, 2014 for first reading only and announce that there will be a public hearing on July 28th, 2014 at
7:15?
7:15.
At what time?
7:15? It has to be a 30-day notice, and that's why we're,
August 28th, Dave.
What did I say?
July.
Oh,
yeah.
details.
Oh,
August, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
August
I knew what
28th.
you meant, and that's the problem.
Yeah, right.
So I'll make sure that ad gets in there. Oh, and I should read it, shouldn't I, should I not? An ordinance amending the codified ordinance, section 117115B, to allow a storage barn as a non-residential use in a residential district.
All right. Moving on, are there any other motions or legislative actions?
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion authorizing the Service Department to go out for bids for refuse slash recycling program for the City of Macedonia residents.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Are there any other motions or legislative actions? Hearing none, let's move on to correspondence from the clerk.
Oh, you know what, Mayor, I left it in, could I catch it next time?
Sure.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Next is the mayor's report, and I have talked to you in the past about this subject. I don't mean to be repetitive, but Ledge Road Bridge is still falling down. I'm very concerned about the lack of response I'm getting to get this bridge fixed. I feel that doing a temporary measure to get the rocks to stop falling on cars by putting up fencing was considered a permanent fix by Norfolk Southern. It basically allowed us to reopen the road until they fixed it right, and that's the way it was worded. I went there Tuesday morning to look at the temporary repairs made to the Ledge Road under the bridge because I've had a lot of complaints on them. And I say now those are temporary repairs because we've gotten the green light from council to move ahead with some full depth repairs, and Ledge Road is on that list. The road repairs are sufficient for now, but under the bridge, I was absolutely flabbergasted by the amount of rubble on the road, with some of the falling rock trapped between and behind the fencing. It's very upsetting to me to see the rate that this bridge is still rapidly disintegrating. I was further dismayed to find out at our staff meeting that the engineer thought that the pictures could be pictures of stones called ballast. Ballast. What's ballast? Ballast is the substructure that the railroad track is built on. In other words, the base or substructure. And you look around, the holes in the walls of the bridge that were there last year are growing. This leans heavily towards my fear of structural deterioration, possibly causing derailment there. And then with the proximity of the Interstate 271 bridge's support to this bridge, I firmly believe the I-271 bridge would be taken out by a derailment. That, along with railroad cars spewing or spilling their contents. This could be a calamity of epic proportions. I brought a few pictures with me tonight, and I've sent some to council just so that you can pass them around and kind of look at it. And they are available from me. I don't recommend that you go down there to actually look at it. Look at it from your car window, but don't walk there because, of course, it's a very narrow road. I told my wife to avoid the area completely. You know what? Maybe we should all avoid that area. Speed limit signs there, due to the narrowness of the bridge, are ignored, as well as the possibilities of getting your car bashed or windshield smashed by falling debris. School buses carrying our children and grandchildren go through that bridge. Wake up, Norfolk Southern. Move the Ledge Road Bridge out of the Ledge Road right-of-way and fix it right. I have directed our law director to start to charge the railroad $100 a day since July 19th of 2013. And that is according to Ohio Revised Code, ORC 4955.24. That's the day we met with Norfolk Southern for the first time, and the fencing resulted from that meeting as a temporary fix. They've had over a year to come forth with a better plan, permanent fix. We're going to try and help the situation by putting up flashing lights there. Please heed the warnings we are giving you. The Interstate 271 Bridge Highway Ramp Project is moving forward. It is a design-build project. The design obligations are being rendered at a record pace. The appraisal process is complex, but after a meeting we had this Wednesday, I believe that Scott, Mike, Nick, and I are much more comfortable with all of the ramp relocation process appraisals. And if my staff is comfortable with it, so am I. It has been brought to my attention that the county is providing covers that deter credit card theft for seniors. Thanks, Mr. Leparo. We have been following up on this, and it's moving forward, but it's at a snail's pace trying to get information how we can do that for our seniors. Diana is finally getting information that we can look into the reality of providing these sleeves after months of calls and requests. And that's the end of my report for this evening. We're going to move on with committee reports.
Do you have any, Sylvia?
No.
Okay. Mr. Mayor, I would like to say that we had a July 21st, 2014, a Macedonia Planning Commission meeting. Met at 5:15, 5:30. We had a proposed final site plan of new self-storage building for Space Place Macedonia LLC at 8945 South Freeway Drive. A proposed conditional site plan approval for Highland Point Parkway Ambassador Football Complex. A proposed signage change for Momentum Christian Church at 8210 1717 East Aurora Road. A proposed cell tower alteration at 9683 Valley View Road. Proposed ground sign installation at 9862 Freeway Drive. A proposed reverse gavel at to hold signage at 9862 Freeway Drive. A proposed used in the B4 district at 223 East Highland Road, Unit A. And our next meeting is going to be August, I believe it's
4th.
August 4th, and it's a special meeting, and it'll start at 5:15. And also, that evening, we will be having a work session in planning, and that will probably proceed right after the special meeting of August 4th.
The proposed public hearing is for the property in the B4 district. B4 is a very limited zoning, and council in the past has said that it would be okay to start bringing new types of businesses there. B4 is things like motels, hotels, so you know where that's at, the only place in town we have motels. but now we have different styles of business asking us if they can locate there. So this public hearing will be in regards to that. The Ambassador Football Complex was just a conceptual type of thing. They came before Planning Commission and asked, should we even move forward to try and design something here? Do you think it will work? It was a very good presentation, conversation. A lot of things were discussed besides it being something that might be good for our residents. It could draw other people into town for our businesses, and there were concerns about the other people driving cars being on that road, Empire Parkway. So we even started discussions about putting a stoplight there because that road is on Highland Road, and Highland Road is mobbed at certain times of the day. So if you're working there, it's very hard to get in and out. So some good things might come out of that. Thank you, Rita. Is there any other committee reports? Hearing none. Department reports, Jim.
Thank you, Mayor, and I want to thank council for the trucks, to be able to hire someone, and to get our striping done. To go on with my report, the service department completed the North Bedford project. The seed and straw will be done by Azar Landscaping from out of Cuyahoga Falls. They'll do that, they'll start Monday, weather permitting, and it'll only take a couple days. Speaking to the homeowners who are very satisfied, it's working. They don't have flood issues. And we've had some heavy rains, so it's working. And then I wanted to let you know also that the pipe for the crossovers to be repaired arrived Wednesday. So once the saw cutting is complete, we will start those repairs. One of the storm router projects that been an issue on Bobolink with flooding and so on, that was completed this week. We got that done also. It involved 4 homes. We ditched over 400 feet and placed over 100 feet of pipe. That should alleviate the problem on that end of Bobolink. So that's one more stormwater issue that we've taken care of. I will start the Eileen project, hopefully the second week of August. There were some issues that we needed to be addressed before we could begin. So I went with Nick, Mike, and myself today because there's 2 homes that enclose their ditches and they put in the wrong size pipe. So we basically today redesigned it so that we can take that pipe out, but yet put it back and cover it so that the homeowners won't be upset that, you know, we're opening up their, all the work that they did. Also, we have to check with, I have Cleveland Water is going to come out and we have to check the water main to check the depth. Because one of the things that I've learned over the years in construction, they're supposed to be 6 to 7 feet deep, but a lot of times they're not. So I want to make sure that that's done because it's right in the path where we have to dig to put some of the, to get the depth that we need for the rest of the project. Having said that, I just want to address everybody and let them know that we're going to do the projects by priority. And what I mean by that, you know, everyone's problems are important, especially to the homeowner that it's affecting. But my job is to complete projects that affect more than just one home. We're in areas that affect many homes or a whole street. And those are the projects that I'm putting ahead of anything. One of the things that was brought up in, for our legislation, that EPA project, was basically just to, it would pay for the corner of Park Avenue. But I have 2 years to complete that, and I would put that aside for that length of time, if it needs to be, to make sure that we take care of our infrastructure first. And I'm going to continue to do that. Our infrastructure comes first, and the residents. And you know, that's what we need to do. And just remember that the weather has been a big issue too. holding us up, because June was, alone was the second worst month for rain and storms since weather data was ever recorded. A couple other things too, I get a lot of complaints from people about our animal control. The contract doesn't cover animals that are in your yard. If you have an animal in your yard, it doesn't cover it. Actually, it only covers stray dogs and nuisance animals that actually go into your living quarters. So that means that the animal has to get in your living room, your kitchen, your bedroom, or whatever, and then we'll go get it. Unfortunately, that's the way it reads, because I get a lot of complaints. There's a possum living under my barn, or there's a raccoon in my drain. There's nothing we can do about that. I just want people to know that. And just on the last note, next week, we're gonna start rewarding the residents with that caught green-handed. That's for people that are taking advantage of our curbside recycling and recycling it correctly. What we will do, we'll have random checks, people will be driving along, and the residents that are doing that will be rewarded with a gift card via the mail. And that's just our way of saying thank you for recycling. And basically, that's my report tonight, Mayor.
I think your report tonight is a testimonial to your philosophy. Your philosophy is to have qualified people so that you can do all these jobs, because we take it for granted that you're doing them, but actually in many cities, that will be done by contractors. And you do all of that because we have some quality people. The problem is we don't have enough people to do all the things that we have to do. So thank you.
Jim, could I ask you, I'd like to see a list of the priorities that you have adopted
Sure.
for each of these areas, so that I have when I get questions, I can respond.
Sure, and I did forget to mention that the people that live north of Ledge, on North Bedford,
Yes.
we have letters that were going out to those few homes that we're gonna make,
Right.
and explain what we're going to do.
Okay, good. I wanted to get that feedback. Right, thank you.
Mike?
Thanks, Mayor. GFS will be opening soon. Nick has been working along with their engineers to get that roadway paved between Huntington and in front of Tractor Supply, that area. It's been a mess for a while. So we're nearing completion on that. Crypto's Sunoco, if anybody's gone past, that is now torn down. They do have permits on that. Enclave has worked on their site quite extensively. That's the rental apartments. They're looking to get some of those houses built this year, some of the units, and we're doing footers on those right now. Jersey Mike's is open. I don't know if everybody got a chance to go there, but the subs are good, and we'll get them open this week. And the assisted living center is moving along on schedule. That concludes my report.
Mike, I have a question. When I spoke to you originally about the corner gas station at 82 and 8, about the permits that were issued, you indicated to me that they would not actually use those permits until a property sale had occurred. Has it occurred? Because they are demolished, the buildings.
I have letters from the property owners indicating what work is to be completed and what work is not to be completed. And I do have letters from the owner allowing for the contractors to work on the site.
Okay, I'd like to see those if I can. Thank you.
Yes.
Angela?
Thank you, Mayor. I just have one announcement this evening, and that is to invite the community to come to Longwood Park for our 7th annual Movie in the Park on Friday, August 8th. It is a free community event, so we encourage people to bring your chairs or your blankets. There will be food available for purchase. There will be some items available for free for the kids. And the movie this year is The Lego Movie. So we encourage people with children and grandchildren to come out and enjoy that event. Thank you.
Okay.
I do have a question, Angela. I know the Spirit of Macedonia that the final numbers are coming in. I gather that they're not totally in yet, or is that
No,
correct?
Scott and I just talked about that today. We still have, we just processed the last payment on the 16th, I believe. I do have one more invoice I just received by email, and then we have one payout yet.
So it's likely you can then provide a report in the
Absolutely.
next council meeting? Thank you.
Yep.
Tim, or I'm sorry, Scott.
Thank you, Mayor. Just briefly, I'll go over, we're down just 5%, or 0.5% from last year. Total collections year-to-date, $5,431,300 compared to $5,457,000. So that's only a $26,468 variance, which is good news. And again, that was driven by our corporations in town with net profits that are substantially up higher. And so good news from the income tax portion of the report. I want to also say, I was working with Chris Griffin recently in our credit card contract for the card reader at the rec center. We went out and, it's currently with Fifth Third, and we went out and looked at some vendors to see if we can get better prices, and they renegotiated some fees. And so based on our volume, we're going to have reduced fees from a new card reader. That has to be actually done anyway, because the new credit cards that are coming out actually have a chip instead of that magnetic strip. So we need to upgrade our card reader anyway. But Chris is working with me, and we just got to find out the vendor with the credit card company to make sure that your current software package integrates with it. So that'll be done, but we expect to save at least $4,000 just from the switch from the new credit card reader. Again, we got that grant from Ohio EPA, litter grant that Janelle wrote, $2,460. So that money will be for our Earth Day. That will hopefully in 2015. That's when we have to do it. And we tentatively been accepted again for the fishing grant already. That deadline we applied for was July 1st, and they already sent something over and said you've tentatively, conditionally been approved. So hopefully that'll be a third year for the event. That's all I have.
All right, that's good stuff. Thank you.
Scott,
Tim?
could I ask just one question? Do we have any word on the Trails grant for the Longwood Park?
They sent it back. I talked to them last week, and they wanted us to do some more work, not paid, because I talked to Nick about it, and they said, we thought they want to do some preliminary environmental thing to make sure that there's not a wetland. And so when I talked to the gentleman that administers the grant in Columbus, he said, no, don't go for any study at this point, but just have some ODNR and some other site visits to come out there, and that they can basically give a quick overview if there's any wetlands present. So
Okay.
they just wanted some preliminary data that we got to follow up for and submit, and then move that grant along.
So they're still working on it?
It's
basically?
still in the hopper, yes.
Right, okay.
Thank you.
Tim?
Thank you, Mayor. We're still out completing our hydrants, flushing, maintaining all of our fire hydrants in the city, so our signs are still out. And so if you see a fire truck out or an ambulance out alongside the road, please be careful. We'll be opening the hydrants and closing them and working them so that we know that they work on a fire. Our aerial tower has been out for about a month, out of service now. It is down in Columbus getting repaired. They have to custom make a waterway because they no longer make parts for the truck. So they're custom making a waterway for the truck. So we're looking at probably another month that it'll be out of service for repair. And that ends my report.
That is our ladder truck for further definition, correct?
Yes.
Okay. John?
No report, Mayor.
Nick?
Engineering is working on the airline west on the bid packages. Should have it ready in the next couple of days.
Thank you. Good. Joe?
No report,
All right, we'll move on to any new business.
Mr. Mayor, I have received another email day before yesterday, which I have not been able to review in detail. Since the Northfield Village has basically prohibited these ATV vehicles, I've received some input that there are people in Macedonia who have issues in their neighborhood with those vehicles, the way they're being driven, and sometimes irresponsibly. I would think we need to maybe look into it. I don't think we need to take any radical steps yet, but I think we're going to have to discuss what might be some better rules of the road for people. Just thought I'd mention that.
Okay, any other business?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for coming.
luck.